Yo guys, what is up? Welcome back to the new video. I'm the Casual Racing Gamer, and as you know, Sony has announced that they are officially bringing PC support to their PSVR2 headset. Now, in this video, I'm going to be discussing PSVR2, but this is going to be strictly for sim racing. Sim racing, I think, is the best use of VR possible, and that's really all I use my VR headsets for. So this is not going to be about, using VR for other types of games. This is strictly for us sim racing. And I know we're going to be talking about GT7, and guys are going to comment, GT7 is not a real sim and all this and that. That's not what this is about. This is about sim racing in general. So let's first get that out of the way. So whether you believe GT7 is a real sim, a simcade, an arcade game, that's going to be irrelevant to the conversation we're going to have now. And just know that this is my opinion, and I know there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to have opposite opinions of me, and that is totally fine. Leave it in the comments. Just be respectful of others, and we can have some really great discussions about this. But I want to tell you how I feel about it and how my opinion actually changed and why it changed. So a little background, I do have PS5, I do have PSVR2, and I do play GT7 often. That's kind of become my sim of choice with VR, but I also have a PC, and it's a decent PC. I have an RTX 3080 GPU, I have an i7 10th gen CPU, and so I do have a PC that is very capable of running VR. I also do iRacing on PC, but since playing GT7 on PS5, I haven't played iRacing nearly as often as I used to, and GT7 has kind of taken over my time. Anytime I want to hop into some kind of sim racing and any kind of racing, I usually go to GT7. Now again, it doesn't matter if you think GT7 is a real sim or not. That's not what this video and conversation is going to be about. It's going to be a more wider conversation about sim racing in general, and where I first thought that it was a great thing that Sony was officially going to be supporting PSVR2 on PC. My opinion of it actually changed. I actually think it's a terrible idea for sim racing and console users, and I'm going to go into why I feel that way. I thought it was going to be great. I already have the headset. I already have a PC. I'm going to be able to just, I was very curious. I have a Quest 3 that I do my sim racing on my computer, and this Quest 3 is a great headset, kind of around the same price as the PSVR2 headset. That has great lenses on the Quest. It has an LCD screen as opposed to an OLED screen on a PSVR2. So that's something that people might go back and forth on which they like better. I actually like the clarity of an LCD screen, but obviously the colors and the contrast and everything else pop better on PSVR2. So I was excited. I already have this headset. I spent the money for it, and that's like great. I'm going to actually be able to use it for my PC sim racing, and it's going to give me another option with another headset that I don't have to go out and buy a new headset. I already have it, and now I have more options, right? So that's a great thing, right? But it's not, and I'm going to tell you why it's not. By Sony putting this PSVR2 with PC compatibility, and this is just my opinion, I think it's Sony wiping their hands of supporting it for console users. I think it didn't sell well. I don't think there's a lot of console users that have bought the headset or what they were expecting to sell, and console in general is not known for sim racing. And like I said, I think VR for sim racing is kind of like peanut butter and jelly. They just kind of go together. It was kind of like VR was made for sim racing. I don't play any other VR games, as good and fun as they might be. There's no better replay value than in sim racing, because sim racing is a game that people play over and over and over and over and over again. And just throwing VR just gives you, it's part of your equipment. It's part of, you have a wheel, you have pedals, you have your headset. It's kind of just part of the equipment. Now, I think by Sony putting this on PC, we're not going to see support going down the line. And I can just see Sony just wiping their hands completely from PS5 support. What that means is we're not going to be getting more VR sim racing games. So when we see, Assetto Corsa Evo is the next version coming out that'll have VR support. I believe they already mentioned, I think it has VR support for PC. Are we going to see VR support if that comes to PS5? Probably not. They didn't give us VR support for ACC on PS5. So GT7 is the only console sim racing game that offers VR support that is a full racing game. So what does that mean for us, and why am I not happy? Because, I do have a PC and I have other racing games I can play. I actually really enjoy the simplicity of playing sim racing games with my VR headset on PlayStation 5. There's no issues. There's no, and choices are a good thing. So don't get me wrong here. when you play VR and you play any kind of racing game or sim racing game on PC, you are hit with 1,000 choices. Now, in my life, in my time where I'm at right now, I don't want all these choices. I want everything just given to me. I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours editing things and changing settings and seeing what setting works and what do I have to do to get this to work correctly. If I'm dropping frames, what setting out of these 400 settings do I need to change that might help me? You deal with that with PC. No matter how good your PC is, you're always trying to change settings, push things, and it gets very frustrating. On my PlayStation 5 with GT7, I plug in my headset. I have no options. I know every time I sit down and play GT7 with my PSVR2 headset, it is going to work perfectly. There is absolutely no slowdown. There's no drop frames ever in GT7. The shadows are like everything is turned on too. So it's amazing how well they're able to get this headset to play in VR, playing a full sim racing game of GT7 where there's no slowdown, there's no drop frames. And now let's get into like some features of that headset, which they're going to be removing from PC. So we do have HDR on PS5, which we are not getting on PC. Now, HDR, when the sun hits you in the face and you're driving a car, you feel the sun. You actually think it's actually hitting you in the eyes. Sometimes it actually makes you squint. Now it just adds to the immersion that you're not going to get using this headset on a PC. But more than that, what they have on PS5 that you're not getting on PC is eye tracking. And this is what allows the developers to really push the limits of what this headset can do on a console like PS5, because it's rendering just what your eyes are looking at in the highest quality, and they can totally lower the quality of the stuff that you are not looking at, which allows them to really push the limits and make things look really good of the things that you actually see. So when you're racing, everything is really nice, crisp, clear. The shadows, the reflections, there is so much going on that you actually just have to take the time sometimes to just look around and see. Like, you'll see in your dashboard, if you have like a camera that's showing the back of your car, if you have like a screen in your car, like you'll see reflections on that screen. You'll see the sun hit it and it'll reflect into your eyes off of that. You'll get reflections off of your mirror outside into your eyes. Like, it's crazy. So that's why they're able to really push the limit. Now, they're not going to be offering eye tracking on PC. So they're not going to be able to. So guys with lower quality PCs, where eye tracking helps improve the quality of the VR because of eye tracking, you're not going to get that foveated rendering. The only thing they can do is just make the center more clear and the outside edges less clear, and you have to actually move your head around to do that instead of your eyes. So on lower PCs, if they had eye tracking, it can really help improve it. Now, the one thing that will help on PC is it's going to be using a display port. PS5, they're using a display port over USB-C, so it will be played like a display port on your PC as well, which Quest 3 does not do that, so you do get compression. So I do think PSVR 2 will probably look more fuller, clearer on a PC over a Quest 3, because you're not going to get that compression. It's going to run over a display port. But the thing I am not happy about is I think it means that we're not going to get future sim racing support for console when it comes to VR. And I think that's the big disappointment here, because I love the simplicity of not having to mess with so many settings and just know that the developer tested everything and they're giving us the best quality they can give us, that they know work at a certain level that's expected from the user. When you're on PC, it's up to you to find your settings. It's up to you to mess with everything. And there's no guarantee you're ever going to figure things out or get things working. You have different CPUs, you have different GPUs, you have different companies making everything. And it's kind of just a guessing game for everybody. And you just don't know what's going to work, when it's going to work. One day it can work perfect. The next day you're dropping frames for no reason when you change no settings. You never get that in a console. And I thought GT7 and PSVR2 was going to be the game changer that really put console out there for us, for VR users and sim racing. Like, I would have been much more happier if iRacing said, hey, we're putting iRacing on PlayStation 5 and giving PSVR2 support. Like, that would have made me ecstatic. That would have been the best, like, thing I probably could have heard about sim racing is iRacing coming to a console and supporting PSVR2. I would have rather have seen it go that way than Sony saying we're giving the headset to PC users and they can then use it over there for whatever they want. But you know, that's just my opinion. I'm kind of curious what you guys think about it. Like I said, I was really excited at first, but the more I thought about it, it kind of just ruined the excitement for me. And I wanted to see more come to PS5 and consoles with sim racing and PSVR2. And I think because of this move, it's going to actually take that away from us. But let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment, thumb it up if you enjoyed the video. We'll catch you on the next one. We out of here. Peace.